So I want to ask a question anyway. Who here has a kid with Narcan already or Naloxone? Yay! Okay, great. So what we have, should say, okay, my name is Michelle and I work with Marian, and we do have a program called Preventing Overdose and Naloxone Intervention. This is Jackie Cleary, who also works with Pony. And so we have available these Naloxone kits for folks for free if you want them tonight. And what I'll do is quickly go over how to use them, and then we can just pass them out. And I just need you to sign it's a one-side little piece, a little bit of information if you want to use the kit. So inside the kit is this is an intra-injectable kit, so it's 2 intramuscular syringes. So we have 2 intramuscular syringes, 2 doses of Naloxone, and then a cheat sheet. So everything I go over tonight is actually found in here in Preventing Overdose and Naloxone Intervention, Preventing Overdose Deaths. So does everybody know what Naloxone is? Right? Okay. So this first part of the trifold talks about when people are at highest risk of overdose. And the thing to think about with regard to risks is that it's when people have had, so obviously it's people who are using, but bear in mind, people can be at risk of overdose if they're using prescribed opioids, if they're using illicit opioids. An opioid is an opioid is an opioid, right? The trainings that we do with Pony are really geared more toward people who are using illicitly, and very much there's a focus on the fentanyl being part of the illicit opioid supply now. So basically, pretty much the vast majority of heroin is either is laced with fentanyl, or really there's not heroin, there's fentanyl. Like it's fentanyl. And the reason that's important is because fentanyl is many times more potent than heroin. And so people who've developed a tolerance to fentanyl, then they've developed a tolerance. The thing is that the fentanyl changes all the time, so there's not one kind of fentanyl, there's multiple kinds, there's analogs of fentanyl, and they have slightly different chemical combinations, so that they have different potence. So you may have a tolerance for one, say, regular fentanyl or acetylfentanyl, but not have this tolerance for furofentanyl or carfentanil, which fortunately we're not seeing much of that here in Rhode Island. So people are at particular risk if they have lost their tolerance. So that could be for any reason that you haven't been using for a while. So it could be incarceration, it could be treatment, detox. And then if there's a reoccurrence of use, where your body has built up tolerance over time, where you're using more and more to get the same effect, you pretty quickly go back to baseline if you don't use for a while. So if somebody has been inside for let's say a couple of weeks, and they come out, then they're going to need to be aware of their tolerance and not use as much as before. Mixing drugs, so mixing heroin with other downers like alcohol, benzodiazepines, or even the opposite, stimulants, because you think it balances out, but it doesn't. It actually just puts stress on the body. And in the age of fentanyl, using alone is really dangerous because fentanyl works on the body so quickly that if a person is going to have a critical, their body is going to experience a crisis because of fentanyl, it's going to happen within seconds to minutes. Whereas with heroin, you actually had more of a window, like maybe even up to an hour before your breathing would slow so much that you could die from it. With fentanyl, it's really fast. So not using alone, letting people know that you're going to use, like, even if they're not in the room, make a phone call so that somebody can get there quick, leave the door open, etc. So all of that is here. So then, is anyone here witnessed an overdose? What does an overdose look like?
Well, the person's lips will often be blue. They kind of sometimes they'll get rigid up, like almost like they're stiff. Right. Their chest isn't raising and lowering like you would expect. Sometimes they become a little bit more discolored, like pale looking. So those are the most obvious signs that I usually think of.
Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly right. So you're going to lose color because what's happening is your body isn't getting enough oxygen. So that's what it looks like. So that's the color changes that Mike was talking about.
When you hear like snoring, or like they'll make like this raspy sound when they're breathing.
Exactly. So that's so slow, no breathing, or the raspy sound. And a big one is not responsive. So if you try to wake somebody up, and then exactly, Bella, the chest nuggie, because if they don't respond to that, because that hurts, then they're in trouble. So then what you would do is
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. You do it, Jack.
So like Michelle said, each kit comes with 2 syringes. So to use the syringe, we tell people to unscrew this orange cap off ahead of time because it can get stuck if you're in an emergency situation. You don't want to be fumbling around. And the easiest way to get the syringe out is you hold it like this, just flip up with your palm and then pull it out like that. So the plastic covering is still on it. You can keep them in your back like this if you prefer to do that too. And then you take 1 dose, so each vial has 1 dose. The easiest way, I think, to hold the syringe is just to hold it like a pencil. So you're going to pull a little bit of air out, doesn't matter how much, and just hold it like a pencil. You have the best grip on it. And then you're going to take the orange cap off of this and then just stick it in like that. Very easy. And then you're going to push that air back up to create some pressure. Hold the needle down to the bottom of the dose because you want to get the whole thing. And then it pretty much fills up itself, but you can guide it with your thumb. So that's about 1 dose of Narcan, of Naloxone. And you're going to put it in a major muscle, so the side of the arm. So you're going to grab back here and feel for the muscle, or the side of the leg, or you can put it in the buttocks. You can do it right through the clothing as long as it's not a really, really thick coat. So a sweater like this, you could do it right through. You just really got to make sure you get it in there. Obviously, they can't feel it.
Perfect.
Okay.
So once you've administered it, then don't try to recap the syringe. Like Jackie will do it now. She's done some million times. She's not nervous. But if you're in an overdose situation, this is a scary time. So if you try to recap the syringe, you're going to hurt yourself. So just put the syringe to the side, and then the two things you could do simultaneously, if there's 2 of you, is call 911 and give Naloxone. Giving Naloxone, the quicker the better, because fentanyl acts so quickly that you want to start reversing the effects of the fentanyl. But unfortunately, because fentanyl binds with the opioid receptors in the body really tight, you may need multiple doses. So if you only have 2 doses, you might not have enough. So having EMTs be there to take over in case the person hasn't revived after you've administered your 2 doses is really important. And so you call 911, administer Naloxone, or depicts on how to do rescue breathing, more or less. So you basically do rescue breathing. Now we don't have, excuse me.
Yeah.
So unfortunately Pony doesn't have any money, so we can't include the masks. But this literally costs $1. And it's got a one-way valve. You can get it like just Google in fake, this I think is a CPR saver is the type, but they're really cheap. But if you do, it can protect, if it's a friend or family member, of course you probably don't care. If it's someone you don't know, you don't feel as comfortable, you can use the mask. But basically you're gonna tilt the head back, pinch the nose, seal your mouth over there, and do a couple of breaths to watch the chest rise and fall. If you don't see the chest rise and fall, you want to check, is the head back because you need a straight airway, is the nose pinched. And then you're going to do 1 breath every 5 seconds for 3 minutes. And if the person doesn't revive, which again, if it's fentanyl, it's not likely that the first dose is going to do it for them. You're going to give the 2nd dose of Naloxone, more rescue breathing, and that is definitely going to keep them alive and begin the process of their kicking that fentanyl off of the receptors. So even if they don't revive in front of you, you have kept them alive and mitigated the possibility of long-term bad effects from the overdose. So store at room temperature, and this is good through
February 2020.
February 2020.
Yeah.
So would anybody like some Naloxone? Okay, excellent.
Question, Michelle.
Yeah.
What is your recommended timing between administering doses of Naloxone.
2 to 3 minutes.
2 to 3.
So 3 minutes if you're doing rescue breathing, because they really need oxygen. That's what the person needs is oxygen. But if you're not comfortable doing rescue breathing, wait 2 minutes and give them the second dose. So 2 to 3 minutes.
Also, if anyone's really squeamish with needles, this is the intranasal version of Narcan. You can get it at a pharmacy. It's a little bit more expensive, so with insurance, the copay is about $40 to $50. Without insurance, it's about $100 to $150. So yeah, so we have those for free, but these are also available, a lot easier to use.